Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be doing an exercise to strengthen your understanding of JSON servers. So this is going to be a relatively short video. We're simply going to implement what we saw in the previous video in our phonebook project. So we're going to head over to our project, which is under the phonebook exercises folder. And in here, we're going to create our JSON file. So we're going to call it db.json. And in here, we're going to have our collection. Since we only have one contact, we can simply write it out here. So we're going to have our key, which we're going to call persons. And it's going to be part of our server link. And we're going to have an array of objects. So the first is going to be name, and we're going to give it John Smith. Then we're going to have a number. And finally, we're going to have an ID. Now we can save our file. The next thing we need to do is open our terminal and navigate to our project. And in here, we're going to run npm install Axios, which we're going to be using to communicate with our server. The next command we're going to run is npm install JSON Server --save dev. If you don't know what this command does, I've explained it in the previous video. And finally, we're going to create our shortcut. So we're going to head over to package.json. And under our scripts, we're going to add a new script called server. And we're going to give it the value JSON server at port number 3001 with the watch flag. And we're going to pass in our server, our JSON file. Now we can save this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to run our server in our application, which is going to require two terminal windows. So in the first terminal, we're going to run npm run dev. Then we're going to create a new terminal. And in here, we're going to first navigate to our folder. And in here, we're going to run npm run server, which is going to launch our JSON server. Next, we're going to head over to our main file. Since we're going to be using the JSON server, we can remove our collection. And we also need to modify our render function. Since our app component no longer takes any input. Once that's done, we can save this file and head over to our app file. And here we're going to import different libraries and different functions that we're going to be using. The first one we're going to add is the useEffect function, which is going to let us run side effects. The next thing we need to import is Axios. Once that's done, we're going to remove the props from our app component, and we're going to give our persons array an initial value of an empty array. Now we're going to use the useEffect function. So we're going to have useEffect, which takes in two inputs, a function, and a list of dependencies, which in our case is going to be an empty array. And inside the useEffect function, we're going to have our Axios call. So we're going to have axios.get. Then we're going to pass in our server. Next, we're going to use the then function, which is going to give us a response. And in here, we're going to use the setPersons function. And we're going to pass in response.data. As we saw in the previous video, response.data contains an array of the different objects we have in our JSON server. So we're going to set that array to our persons array. Now we can save our file. And if we open our browser, we can see that John Smith has been rendered to our screen. So this has been an exercise on creating JSON servers. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel to show your support.